Hi, good morning. Good morning. Wow, it really has been a minute. Can't even speak. So, uh, I'll do a different video about this, everything that's been going on this year, as it pertains to this and other things in life because it's all interrelated. But for today, I thought I have a little bit of time before my first client arrives that we could do a reading for whoever is meant to find this. I already set an intention in a little just prayer slash, communication with the universe about whoever's meant to find this will find it. And we'll start with a message that we'll read at the end. So these are sticky, so I usually will shuffle and then pull something. Let's see which one wants to come out. This is the archetypes, the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, which is one of my favorites. I think this one. Okay, we have the Siren. We'll read that at the end. Don't know what that means. I don't think I've ever had that one before. Okay, so did somebody knock on my door? I don't usually get that, so I was like, what is it? That's funny. It's the Siren. Okay, so let's get us short. We have some time. Somebody here? Hold on. I guess no one's here. So I want to lay out like a storyline, a trajectory for whatever it is that you're bringing today. Are you looking for guidance? Are you looking for how something's projected to play out, what energies are in flux or play or playing tug of war, things to be aware of, things to harness, like take advantage of? So, and what we'll do is lay out kind of, like I said, a trajectory of the energies at play and see where we fall within that trajectory. Like, where are we in this storyline? So, all right, let's see. Okay. We have the Page of Pentacles. This is definitely well, there are a few things showing up here. There's something new. There's like something new starting or about to start. We have the Ten of Wands. This almost feels like either we're coming to the point where you're about ready to release a bunch of heavy burdens, something that's felt really hard to carry, or it's just happened. So again, we'll see where we are in this story. Or there's a realization that, whoa, this has been hard and it's time to drop it. And then we have the World. There's definitely some closure happening here. So it's almost like a desire for a new start, but you recognize that it's hard to bring something in new when there's no space for it. And so there's something about clearing out the old. And then we have the Queen of Cups. So this feels like, oh, I'm getting all the chills already. So this feels like when you get to that closing out the old cycle, there's like a period of time coming. This feels more like future energy, not maybe near future, where you're going to have to learn how to contain. It's almost like a recalibration energy of learning how to contain what you're about to receive so that you can fully receive it. She's about fully receiving it. Self-love, self-care. There's a lot of going inward after this cycle of clearing out the old, perhaps. And then we have the Ace of Cups. This is you opening up to the new. So now that you've learned how to contain it, hold it, this is like, okay, now I can fully step into it and open up and even pour some out. There's almost like I'm getting all the chills. So there's something about you've been carrying it so much. It almost feels like you've had this, I got to do it all myself energy. Then, oh man, chills, hot flash, what's happening? So we'll peel this back more, but this is you really stepping. This is like a stepping forward and out, and almost like you've learned how to receive and now you're able to freely give. Let's see if there's one more waiting for us. Queen of Pentacles. This is you fully. This feels like farther out into the future, perhaps, where you've walked the walk, you've learned how to stabilize this energy, You've learned how to nurture yourself, self-care, self-love, and you've really anchored it into your everyday reality. So let's stop with that one. But you know, I'm a curious person, so I'm going to just peek at what's next. I couldn't stop. The Empress, we're totally letting her sit out here because she's like the Queen of Pentacles. And then where would the Queen of Pentacles go except here? Like, there's no end to this energy that you're stepping into. This is beautiful. No wonder I'm having all the hot flashes and chills. And it's menopause, so you know. This is going to be quite a ride. So we've got, oh my God, we've got 7 cards out here to peel back, to go deeper on and see what the nuance is with this message. We could stay right here and be totally fine. I'm really curious now what the Siren's going to say about this journey. They usually give some good advice. Can you tell I'm glistening? Woo! Woo! Talk about recalibration. Okay, Page of Pentacles. Let's see. Let's get some more detail on that step. We've got the 7 of Pentacles. So this feels like you're really, really focusing on what you want to grow. Okay, so again, this may not be the stepping out part, but it's like you're really feeling into what you really want. So to step into. So the page is like this message, this call that a new beginning can happen for you. The 7 of Pentacles is you really, it's almost like a commitment card. Like some people call it, is the juice worth the squeeze? So if that resonates with you, take it. Like this is that contemplating this fresh start, this new direction, and saying, can I do it? Can I show up and be committed? Is it worth all that it might take that I might have to go through to step into this new role, this new path? So, and it's really taking that pause to really ground in how you feel about it and say, yeah, I think so, but we'll see. So the 10 of Wands, I mean, it does obviously look like you're going for it, but this, you might be in that period right now where it's like, I really got to take time out and really, like, really feel into it. Am I committed? I'm curious what might be getting in the way of that commitment, but we'll see. 10 of Wands. We have the 4 of Wands. Okay, so this is a card of your, like, what do you want for your ultimate happiness? What's going to lead to that? What do you feel about it? Is it, and it's a card of stability. So when we talk about all of this pentacle energy at the start, it feels like maybe things have been really hard, fiery, a lot of energy, a lot of just, there's a difference between calm, peaceful, I'm grounded, nothing shakes me off course too much. That feels like what you want to bring in. And then in the past, there might have been a lot of this, just a lot of like, yeah, it's hard to say because it could be different from everybody. I'm picking up different types of that, different nuances for different people out there. It could be all up in your head, like second guessing yourself. It could be like impulsivity, like it could be, yeah, a lot of emotional growth that's been needed where you've been kind of like out at sea just, or, you know, pulled every direction, emotional roller coaster style energy. So the 4 of Wands is really feeling into like, I want stability in my life. I want happiness. I want peace, prosperity, joy, all of that. And this is, I'm curious where this shows up in your lived reality, or if this is like what you really desire, because it's coming here with the 10 of Wands, which is you, it's time to like put down this heavy burden type of energy, like going alone. This could, okay, that makes sense now. The 10 of Wands is like the end of the cycle of you doing it all yourself. And this is the card of union. A lot of people call it the marriage card or happy celebration energy, togetherness. So if there's relationship out there for you where you feel like it's time for me to commit to that relationship, there's commitment energy here, you really contemplating it and then stepping into it. It could be a new relationship, but it could just be you recommitting to the one you're already in, if there's relationship energy you're resonating with. So otherwise, it could be just kind of abstract that to your whole life. It's like, what do I really want to build, to stabilize in my life that's going to be my joyful path? Okay, now we have the World. This is that cycle completion energy, and it's pretty big. Like, you were put on this earth to close out this cycle right now. So let's see. We have Okay, this is no joke because I was feeling that big time. The world, like, yeah, right now and this feels like when I said it's like you were put here on this earth to close out a cycle. It feels like karmic. It feels like your family line, like these themes that have like elements of what we've talked about so far run through your family line, and you were brought here to close it out. This is confirmation of that. We've got the world again, although in this deck they call it the universe. So we've taken the world and blown it up to the universe. The universe, that's why I love this deck. There really is something karmic, like your ancestral karma beyond lifetimes, but also your soul path kind of energy that comes with this deck. And so take that as it resonates. There's something big you were put here to do that has to do with a karmic theme that might resonate with like, oh, I got to do it all myself, which means I can't commit to other people until I really commit to myself. Committing to myself means I don't have to prove anything to anybody. That means I don't have to push, show up and do it all myself, have the martyr energy if that's part of it too. It's like, no, I don't have to prove anything to anyone, not even myself. So put down the heavy burden. No one's looking at me saying, here, carry all this. It's something I took on myself because what passed through my family lineage perhaps. So it's like, that ends now. Okay, so the Queen of Cups. We have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is a card of so many things. When you combine it with the Queen of Cups, you have so much water energy here, and this is about emotional healing. This is about going back in time. This could be karmic as well. This could be something like you are looking back in time to say, look, I'm doing this work on behalf of our collective going forward. So I'm reaching back to receive a gift from my ancestors, a gift of healing that I can carry forward. It could also be the inner child card. So you are doing your own emotional healing right here too, because the Queen of Cups is the card we talked about where you're learning how to contain, recalibrate, and contain what's coming in. So this closure with the universe and the world is like you're putting an end to something that's not going to be carried forward. That's why you're fully able to step into the Queen of Cups energy with the Six of Cups healing leading the way. It's the thing that it's like the undercurrent that's supporting your healing. It's like you're doing it on behalf of your whole, like more than just your physical human self. Okay, so that seems to be a motivator for you in particular, or at least some of you, because you've really taken the time way back at the beginning of this story with the Seven of Pentacles to really ground in and feel the commitment energy. Yeah, there's something about you didn't want to embark on this until you were really committed. And there's something about commitment energy here, right? There's something here that is also part of your healing. Okay, Ace of Cups. Let's see. You guys, I can't make this up. Ace of Cups. You've got a double Ace of Cups. There's like such a new beginning. It's almost like you are somebody who's like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And I'm doubling down on every step of this. I don't get a sense of speed yet. And maybe that's why. It's because you're so intentional every step of the way. You are present. Oh my God, this is beautiful. Because there's no warning signs there's no warnings. It's almost like you at the start of this, you're like, there's no rush. I'm also not going to hold back and go slower. It's like you are present and just the right pace through this for you. That's amazing. I don't know if I ever really pick up on that in a reading. Usually there's something like, whoa, slow your roll, or come on, you can stop holding back now. This is like, no, you're doubling down on everything because you're committed. You're present. Commitment means presence. I got all the chills on that. Okay, so Queen of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So when it feels like once you've started opening your heart to this new path, there's a doubling down of like really like, okay, this is what I really, really desire. You've got the Queen of Pentacles, this nurturing, you're in it for the long run, and you know why you're in it. You know your reason, you're very intentional, you're going to nurture this thing to completion, to success, whatever that means for you. And the Ace of Pentacles followed by the Ace of Cups, you've got like, okay, now I'm emotionally open to this. Now I'm physically starting to take the steps. This is where you take action. And you know your why. You know your why. This is like, who are you? It's like mentor energy. It's like, and maybe that's where this is leading. If we were to do this again in your future timeline or keep going out on this storyline, it's almost like this is where you're turning the corner, you're healing your lineage, your karmic stuff, and really going after being able to bring in what you desire because you've closed everything else out and you've made room for it, fully opening up to what you desire, taking the steps with intention and presence. I mean, when you've got that as your really rock solid foundation, where are you going? Okay, let's get the Empress. That's the last card for this story, this part of the story. And we've got the Hierophant. You guys, so when I said, like, I don't even remember what I said, but when I said, like, when you've got this as your foundation and you're going somewhere, now it's like you've done your work so that you can share it with others. You've also got a hint of that with the Six of Cups. So you're doing your healing on behalf of others. Once you step fully into this new path, this is like mentor energy. And did I say the word mentor? I think that's what I said, or I said it in my head, because that's the energy here is like, now that you're fully, and the Empress is like, you've embodied this whole journey. You're fully able to sit in your power. The Hierophant is also sitting in their power, but they also know what they believe. They've also, by the end of where it shows up in this story, you've uncovered your hidden beliefs so that you would have dealt with them. And I think that happens back here with the 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands, right? The Hierophant means I've taken everything I've learned and I'm stepping into my mentor energy. It also means you're a lifelong student. So it's not like you're all high and mighty with this. Like, your work is never done. But now you're able to take that and pour it out into the world. Okay, let's keep going because we do have a little more time. I think I'll use fewer words now. Now that we've anchored in this story, we could go a little faster. Okay, so for what? Page of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles. We have the Empress. You know what I love is when there are hints of where we're going at the beginning of the story. It's almost like, and when that Page of Pentacles, when I said earlier, you hear the call to follow something, you know this is part of the call. She's the one calling, saying you're stepping into your Empress energy. So this is maybe what seals the deal with that commitment energy, which is like that 7 of Pentacles. It says you're committed because you know where you're going, and the Empress is like fully, she's the Empress. I don't know. She's such the divine feminine, which makes sense because you're about to put down the 10 of Wands, which is like that fiery masculine energy that has to prove something, that has to do it all themselves. You know, I'm so strong. And the Empress is like who you've always wanted to embody. You're like, I can be strong without proving it to anybody. Okay. 4 of Wands, 10 of Wands. We have the King of Swords. I was wondering when we'd get some sword energy, because when we're talking about this is like that, there's something about you're getting really clear on what you want and why. Okay, when we talk about the 10 of Wands, you know what your wound is, the karmic, psychic wound, whatever. The 4 of Wands, you know what you want. You want to anchor in your own sense of peace and stability and stop having to prove it, because now you are embodied in living it. It's on display. Whereas before, maybe it was all up in your head. There was a lot of mind energy around this, but then you're gaining a sense of clarity, and really with this King of Swords, you're gaining a sense of clarity on what you're putting down and why and where you want to go with it. So now we get to the world and the universe, closing out the cycle. I just always like to peek at what falls out. So I had 2 of Swords. Okay. And we have the 7 of Cups. after that closure, this is where that cup energy starts to open up and you're like, whoa, now I feel like this emotional opening, like a heart opening to a whole bunch of possibilities. Let's see what the Queen of Cups, Six of Cups shows us. We have the Nine of Swords. We're getting more of that sword energy. So with this part of the story, it's like when you're clearing out the old and you're opening up an emotionally, and the sixes can kind of feel like this give and take reciprocity energy. There feels like if it hasn't happened already, there's going to be this, like, it'll be hard. No lie. Like it's going to feel a little bit tug of war between mind and heart. And that's normal. That's what has to happen. It's that recalibration energy. So just know, if it helps you to just know that's what's happening, breathe, be in your body. Don't try to dissociate or avoid, because that's what the Nine of Swords is warning us against. It says, just flow with it. Know that that's part of the process. Before something can expand, there has to be contraction, right? And there has to be some of this before you can push past those boundaries because the Queen of Cups is all about containment. How can you learn how to contain something bigger without feeling this? Like it's a balloon expanding. It's going to stretch like your barriers, and you're going to feel the tightness, right? And so just know that like that's part of the process, but you're not going to pop. You're not going to pop. You're going to stretch and expand, and it's just part. I'm getting all the chills. So it's because you're starting to open up into like your biggest, most authentic self. So it's like, oh, what do I really want? It's almost like you're stop proving that you can just be here, that you can exist. And I actually have the right to dream big for what I want for myself. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, in order to call that in, you've got to build your container. Queen of Cups says that. Okay, Ace of Cups. I told you I was going to use less words. Ace of Cups, Ace of Cups. You're doubling down on this opening. And then we've got the Queen of Swords. Look at all this sword energy. You've got the King and the Queen. This is discernment. Oh my God, this is where you truly have balance, the masculine and feminine and the sword and the cup energy. So the mind heart, the Queen of Swords, she has such the ability to discern. So when you start to open up to this new direction, sit with your Queen of Swords energy that says, I'm not just opening up to anything and anybody. It's like you still have intention and you still have commitment. And she knows, she's like very clear on who she lets in, what she lets in, what she calls in, and what she keeps out. Okay, so your boundaries, this feels like boundary work. And we talked about, yep, I'm getting the chills. We've talked about the boundary work. That's what she's here to tell you. You've solidified your boundaries. Talk about doubling down. There's like, Okay, Queen of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. We've got the Page of Pentacles again. And then it's funny, all in one line, we've got your Pentacles. Queen, Ace, Page. This is wild. So that hint from before, like you're hearing the call to step into something new, you're just going for it. When you've got the Queen, you know your why, you know what you're nurturing, you know it's going to be successful, you know where you're going long term, and you're in it for the long haul, not rushed. Day by day you show up. Ace and Page are confirmations that you're at the start of that journey. You're off and running slowly, steadily, because it's Pentacle energy. The Empress and the Hierophant. We have the Hermit. The Hierophant and the Hermit together is like this. It's like the old wise man, only you're the old wise Empress. It's like you're fully sitting in your power and your wisdom. There's nothing even else to say about that, because that's like the future energy that holds steady for the rest of your journey, okay? Because there's no going back when you have double world, double universe here, and double Ace of Cups turning the corner to open to something new. There's a clear line in the sand. So when we get the Empress, Hierophant, Hermit in your future, that's your long-term, steady, solidified future. There's no going back. Let's get one more round. One more layer. Okay, we've got the Nine of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, the Empress, Nine of Cups. So this is you when you're setting your commitment for what you want for your ultimate satisfaction and happiness, where you're going, this is like you're feeling into like what you deeply desire. Because the Nine of Cups is like that wish card, the wish for your ultimate fulfillment. So you're really feeling into that commitment and really feeling into the desire. Okay, 10 of Wands, 4 of Wands, King of Swords. We have the Fool. Oh, I love this. Because once you've realized what your karmic journey is, or your soul path, or why you're here, or what you're wanting to close out and why, and you gain that clarity, something in you, I would be curious about getting clarification on this. Like what, just for my curiosity, like what is it that turned you into this trust energy? It's almost like a little bit of self-trust is coming here because you've really felt into what you deeply desire, what your wish is, and you've felt into your commitment energy. It's almost, this is what it feels like. I'm getting some chills. It's almost like you had to commit to yourself first in order to let go and trust that the universe has your back, that everything else is going to fall in line. Maybe there was a little self-trust, self-doubt issues before. And maybe that's why the King of Swords is here. Once you've stepped into your self-trust, then it's like, oh, I can let go. I can fall into this. And that comes right at the precipice of the World card, this cycle ending. And maybe that's that proving energy. You know, when we have to prove so hard, it's like, why? Why do we doubt so much? Why do we doubt? Because if we felt confident, there's no reason to prove and work so hard, right? So it feels like you're closing out a cycle of self-doubt. You don't need out external validation. You don't. That's the Fool energy. You're like, yeah, I got this. And the universe has got it too. Okay, the World, the universe, 7 of Cups, opening to possibilities after the cycle closure. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So this is where after the Fool, you really start taking steps on this new beginning. Okay, the Knight of Pentacles is about slow and steady wins the race. It's almost like your heart opens to all these possibilities. There's an emotional opening, and then you're grounding that in and saying, you must be a very practical person. Or you're this new chapter is about really wanting to live on the earth and embody everything, you know, like to walk the walk. It feels like that's what you're stepping into. Because the Knight of Pentacles is like, yeah, I'm here. I'm showing up. It's like your commitment. It's your commitment energy. There's something big about commitment in your soul path. Queen of Cups, 6 of Cups, 9 of Swords. You're recalibrating, and then you have the King of Swords again. So this is where you're taking that 9 of Swords worry, and this is like when you've moved beyond that. This is where your recalibration turns into wisdom. Okay, Ace of Cups, Queen of Swords, double Ace of Cups. Triple Ace of Cups in the same line. Ace of Cups, Queen of Swords, Ace of Cups. This is amazing, especially paired with the Queen of Swords, who she's a water element, but she's very boundaries. So the Ace of Cups, triple Ace of Cups is like, you know, you're not holding back. Your boundaries can be more fluid. They're no longer too locked down out of protection. You're starting to really sit in your power here. You know your mind, you know your boundaries, and you can still show up freely with others. You're not distrustful. Because you know this growing knowing and trusting yourself that's sprinkled through here. I love how it's sprinkled. It's not like that's your main karmic thing, but it's sprinkled through here as it's growing, and your boundaries are big here. And it's like, no, it's almost like your boundaries are perfectly calibrated for what your journey is. Okay, I got the chills on that. Queen of Pentacles, Ace, Page. And we've got the 6 of Swords. So you're off on a journey here. This is where when we're talking about where you're going for the long run, and this is the card of travel, of journeying from the past to the future, And also it could be a healing journey. This is still part of your journey, your healing cycle. Even though the hard part's done, this is like, here's what it was all about. I'm taking those lessons learned with me on this path. Maybe you are making a move. This could be a signal that you're actually moving location, because we're in the Pentacle energy and now you're setting off. So if this has been about like really moving into a new location or a new job, a new home, there is the card of home here. This is where you are doing it. This is where you're doing it. Because first, before we take tangible steps in the world, we've got to open emotionally. You've done all the inner work. This is it showing up in the outer world. And if you aren't moving, then you're staying here, but taking steps on that new path or that new venture, that new project. The Empress, the Hierophant, the Hermit. And we've got the Queen of Pentacles again. So we're ending here with the complete, like, so grounded in what you're doing and your why. It's almost like this cycle of any self-doubt that was ever here, it's right here at the heart, like that sword energy, whatever cycle of self-doubt is ending. And now you're fully sitting in your power. You've got the Empress twice, you've got the Queen of Pentacles twice. You're in your divine feminine now. You're closing out the dysfunctional masculine, not the divine masculine, the dysfunctional masculine, to sit in your divine feminine and your functional feminine. Like she shows up in the world and says, I know my mind, I know my boundaries. I gotta go, but we could keep going on this. I'm curious what you're doing. But because I'm going to take a photo of this so you can see the full storyline, and you can read them by column and you can read them by line, and just see all of the ways this flows, because it's pretty profound. At least to me, it feels very profound for what you're going through. So best of luck, and thanks for being here. Bye. Guess who forgot to read the siren? Okay, the siren. We'll read this real quick. This is from the Wild Unknown Archetypes. The siren, the temptress, the seducer, femme fatale. The siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. We find ourselves lost in a spell of desire and longing, perhaps even lust. Whether the thing calling to us is ultimately good or bad is somewhat irrelevant. It's the journey that matters, and the work of the siren is to take us on a deep psychic descent. Following her song, we go down, down, down to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied to find our way back to dry land. Try as we might, resisting the call may not even be an option. Unless, like Odysseus, we bind our hands to the mast of our ship. It's likely, though, that falling for her call is the only way we will come to live more fully on the surface. I love that this whole reading started with a call. It's really interesting. When light, it says awakened sensuality, absorption, arousal. When dark, wickedness, adultery, wreckage, betrayal, insatiability. Go deeper. J.W. Waterhouse's Nymph Paintings, Lana Del Rey's album, Ultraviolence. I love her little notes. Other iterations, it's like you have to turn the book. Other iterations of the siren archetype include the nymph, the mermaid, and the fairy. They often come in sets of 3 as a trinity of temptation. Embodying the siren archetype requires that we explore things that are taboo. The siren laughs at conventions and constraints. She eats rules. That's interesting to me. The 10 of Wands kept coming to me with this. It's like, I don't know why though. Because, I mean, the 10 of Wands shows up as like really the burdens you're dropping. And when you're stepping into your divine feminine, and there's like this dysfunctional masculine, what I'm wondering is about this whole temptation piece and around sensuality and maybe what the world thinks of as our femininity. And it's like, no, you're wanting to embody the real divine feminine, regardless of what it looks like on the outside. So it's like, there's something about that here that kind of is a theme of this reading, because you've got the Empress twice and the Queen of Pentacles twice, and you've got the King of Swords twice. So it's like that that masculine stuff is being recalibrated within your body. So it's like you're committed to that journey. So take that as it resonates, and see you later. Bye.